Oh, it's fine. Well, hello and welcome to the 1126 rendition of 1120, where I was going to go live on 1120, but we aren't using this slot until right now. And it's 1126. So let's see. I kind of want to, this is going to be one of those, take it as it resonates. If it resonates, and if it don't resonate, don't take it, as they all are. But especially today, because in this 1126 rendition of 1120, I hope I have enough space. It'll work out. I want to do something interesting. So the thing that I did last time that I confused myself, and then after I ended the live, I was like, oh my gosh, there's such a simpler way to do this. It just didn't occur to me at the time, I guess. We're going to look at 1120 to 1126. I feel like there's a few things I want to say. First of all, sometimes... Ooh, Page of Swords. Is this going to work? So on 1120, I did this whole blur the background thing, and I had to end up updating a lot of stuff. It was a time where it was time for upgrades and clearing out the hard drive and defracking the disks, defragmenting. Right? That's what defrag stands for. Anyway, I found this blur the background plugin for OBS, and it's probably going to blur these too. But you know the cards. So we're just going to go with it. The Page of Swords and the Five of Wands. This is an interesting combination. The Page of Swords and the Five of Wands, this is an energy. The Two of Pentacles and Temperance, which are very similar energies behind this. Even if it isn't, I might have to turn this off. No, this is, and it's not even an Oracle Juice Live. It's there's this conflict going on in the Five of Wands. And the Page of Swords has a sword, right? Like a real sword. They have wands. It's the Page of Swords knows that they can end it. Now, if this is a Five of Swords type energy, then the sword would be way too much force for what the situation is, right? It's it's a wand fight. You don't need to bring a sword. If you bring a sword to a wand fight, you are going to more lethally injure someone than you would if they were just contused. Right? Is that the word? I'm not going to find it. If they suffered blunt force trauma. But it's arguably, ? Better than a severed head. It could be too much, right? And because it's the Page of Swords and not a knight, king, or queen, there's an amount of not only naivety, but also there's almost a not potentially having the full picture, right? Because if they're pretending or if they're training, and if the conflict isn't what it looks like from the outside to this Page of Swords, then it would really not be great. Or it is something well within the Page of Swords' ability to handle. Those are the two ways I could see this. With the Two of Pentacles and Temperance behind these cards, it's either way, there's a certain amount of self-restraint, I guess you could say, that would need to be exercised because, again, it's a sword. And those are wands, right? It's a sword, and the other people, they have sticks or training swords, the wooden swords or whatever. There are so many ways this could go. Because now it's almost with that, Two of Pentacles and Temperance, depending on the degree of scrutiny, it could be very surgical. But That's been happening. Um, with it being an almost surgical energy, there comes the, I guess, the connotation of like it being surgical makes it almost lean toward something not necessarily manipulative, but not great. Maybe just like an element of delicateness, right? I don't know. That's not what I was going to do today. Anyway, the dreams have been interesting. There's this theme in my dreams that Ten of Swords, oof, and the High Priestess behind the Ten of Swords. That's what the Five of Wands went on top of. Because the Ten of Swords and the High Priestess are here, and the Three of Wands is behind this High Priestess, it is giving like a need to end some kind of conflict or to put an end to something. The Page of Swords is on top of the sun and the world, and the devil is behind the world. So, yeah, with the world card and that Ten of Swords, it's definitely for the Page of Swords to put an end to something. But even still, and with the sun, what I love about the sun, the Page of Swords going on top of the sun, is it's like it doesn't have to be, it's very much the energy that's like your best revenge is your own happiness, right? Like the best thing that you can do to seek justice or to rectify a situation is to live your life free of the turmoil that it could have introduced to it, right? So it's almost like if it is like a conflict, be it internal or otherwise, it's like if it were like children fighting over a toy. The sun and the page, like the sun and the Page of Swords would be an energy of like just bringing everyone their own toy, right? It puts an end to the conflict in a very definitive way, but in one that leaves everyone satisfied. It could be the energy of a graceful exit. It could be the energy of anything. And with the Three of Wands and the world, it's like it's necessary for whatever comes next. Cool. And then the tower is right there. I'll put all those back on the tower. Anyway, there's this theme I've been having in dreams. And I feel like it gets worse and worse. First, it was just like confusing. First, it was confusing and mildly intriguing. Now the Four of Wands is there. Oh, okay. The Four of Wands is coming through clear. Love that. Um, and it's at first it was like confusing and mildly whatever, and now it's just like, oh my gosh. Um, I need to tell my mom about it. Anyway, my number one thing in. Um, I did have a dream like last week. I've had a few dreams where Eight of Wands. I've had a few dreams lately, quite a few dreams, where it's like I am on a mission in my dream and there's a lot of stuff like happening around me. Like I'm on a mission to get from point A to point B. As I'm making my way, it's like I'm coming across like crowds of people, like there's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm like, I'm in the dream, I'm like, it's not my business. Like, I'm on a mission, right? And then I had a dream last week that was very sort of like weird and intense and in much of the same vein, like I was living my life, minding my business, ended up in the right, wrong place or the wrong, right place at the right, wrong, or wrong, right time. And like some stuff was going down. I was like, I understand what's happening, but I'm not necessarily going to participate because it's not that like it doesn't concern me, but like I have boundaries and there are things that I don't do. And then I heard like the why behind the happening. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a special case. And like, just like in the dream, like flipping so quickly and immediately was just like, because I got the context that I received in the dream, to me, it was like, okay, now it's completely justified. But somebody else in the dream was like, whoa, like, what happened? Like, you said that you weren't going to get involved. Just like, well, I wasn't going to get involved, and now I am. So, yeah, and then I woke up and it was weird. And then I went back to, I don't know. Anyway, that happened. I was like, okay. Five of Wands again. Who is this? The Four of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Seven of Cups. I think this is why the Sun is such an effective weapon for that Page of Swords. Because with these cards, it's like this conflict. There's some kind of conflict happening. Everyone is like trying to hold on to what they have. And also at the same time, you could say there's an element of greed. Excuse me, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be like a survival thing. But it's almost like the parties involved in the conflict don't even fully know what they're like fighting over. It's something like vague. Oh, look, there's a Four of Wands again. The Four and the Five. And that's why the clarity of the Sun is like, oh. So in that, it's like for the people, after that clarity is had, for the people that are like still interested in the thing, then there will be some kind of process to like bid on it or whatever. And then there are going to be some people who aren't interested because now they can clearly see what the thing is like, oh, like I don't want that anyway. So it could be like a tightening of something because there are like competitors that are exiting for whatever reason because maybe the payoff isn't what somebody thought it could be, right? I don't know. Anyway, that is besides the point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it one more shuffle. I'm going to split this in 3 piles. Yep, this is definitely not enough room, but this is. And we're going to go, so between 1120 and 1126, we're going to see what's happening. From the middle pile, it's going to be the seen. The third pile will be the unseen. And the first pile will be like the reason. This is why it's like extra, take it as resonance. And the Seven of Pentacles is a card that I'm declaring. So if it comes out, great. If not, we'll go looking for it. Cool. And I'm going to pull off the top of the middle one and then off the bottom of the other ones. And just like 3 cards. Oh, the Hangman. Great. Love it. The Five of Swords and the Star. What I love about these, 12 plus 5 equals 17. But the 5 that bridges the Hangman to the Star is the Five of Swords and not the Hierophant. I would say there's this like major minor arcana energy. The Five of Swords is a card of like overwhelm or like a decisive victory, a very decisive, very overwhelming victory. And either the person stands as the victor or the person stands as the one who has just like completely been obliterated. because of this major, minor, major, and because it's the Five of Swords specifically, this feels like incognito major arcana energy. And that's why it was able to so effortlessly and decisively end some kind of conflict or just completely dominate something. I had this, that must be a plane or something. I'm like seeing this thing like drop down in the sky. Oh, it looks like it's curved a little bit. It was like straight down for the most part, but now it's like angling. I don't know what it is. I feel like if it was one of those like lines in the sky type things, I wouldn't be able to. That is a steep. It could be a plane coming in, honestly. That's such a steep curve. That gives. That's not logarithmic. Is that. I know those curves. It's like the inverse of a logarithmic. I feel like the inverse of logarithmic is exponential, but that's not. Is it exponential decay? Yeah. So the shape, I already lost it. It's something like that. Something like this shape you can't see. If I hold it here, can you see it? Can you see it now? It's like this. Oh, you can kind of see it. There you go. It's like that. How it was like coming down and then like took a very severe like angle. Exponential decay with a Five of Swords energy is also appropriate because it's something that decays exponentially, which means it's like quick. Anyway, should we just continue? No, the Two of Swords on the ground here. It's almost this energy of like a time of indecision or the time of an impasse is over. Something occurs to tip the scales in a very like pointed way, in a way that is because the situation could have been such a stalemate for so long. Either because it's been such a stalemate for so long, it's kind of surprising that something takes such a drastic deciding shift so quickly, or because it was stalemated for so long, now that a decision has been made, there's like a level of commitment just because like they like you don't want to go back to the stalemate. This is also Pisces and Aquarius. As far as I know, nothing has retrograded Pisces into Aquarius. There could be like a asteroid or something. Um, or if this is like something that someone has prayed on and meditated on for a while, it's almost like, oh yeah, I forgot. Before I was distracted by the exponential decay. Um, I was gonna be like, oh, welcome to a very special live today. And like today's a very special day. Why? I don't know why. But I had that thought like today's a very special day and we may not even know why it's so special yet. And so with this Five of Swords, it's like hangman energy came into the realm of minor arcana and like did something. So it feels like a lot of times when the divine moves, it moves in very like removed or mysterious, energetic, subtle ways. But sometimes it's almost an energy of like divine intervention because things just so decidedly sort of happen in like a material way. Anyway, what we don't see of this is the Two of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. Again, Two of Pentacles, Hangman, similar in terms of like if the Hangman is about something not necessarily stagnant, the Two of Pentacles is like the balancing of keeping something still, right? So maybe it's an energy of like something that couldn't necessarily make any headway, but at the same time, it wasn't a like, well, let's scrap it and just give up, right? It's like a two steps forward, one step back, one step forward, two steps back. And it's this like, it kind of like zeroes out ultimately, but there's like some movement both ways. Now, the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, I was looking at the water being poured out in the Star card. And then we have the Page of Cups right under it, almost like ready, cup upheld, ready to receive the waters that are being poured out. Right? I know you can't really see it. I'm sorry. But there's a fish in the cup. Fish is Pisces. Hangman is a Pisces card. It's Neptune. Aquarius is the water bearer as well. And so to have the page with the cup ready to receive the water that Aquarius bears. So maybe something's going on with Pluto. North Node is in Pisces. I know there's like a water grand trine of like Saturn, Neptune retrograde, and Pluto, Mercury retrograde, Scorpio. I don't know if it's still happening. I think I looked like yesterday or the day before. And then in Cancer, there is it Jupiter? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it was a Saturn Jupiter retrograde trine at like 25, 24 ish degrees. And with this Page of Pentacles, there's an energy of like room being made for something. I'll pull three of these, but I kind of only want to pull two. I want to pull two, I'll pull two. Because three is a bit much. The Five of Wands, because of course, and the Nine of Wands. So the card that's missing is that Four of Wands that we've seen. So the overarching 5 + 9 is 14, the Temperance of Wands. We've seen Temperance. There's something with the five and the Nine of Wands. This is like the victor of this like conflict, right? The Nine of Wands is the one that still stands. But the energy feels it's very much like there's a free car and there are people it's like you have to keep a hand on the car and the last person to have their hand on the car wins the car. So it's like if someone has to go to the bathroom or if they like, I don't know, sneeze or if something happens and they go, ah, and both hands are off the card, then like they lose. I feel like this just took like a huge turn because when they talk about trials and tests, it's a very testy energy. It's almost like if there were a thing that was given to multiple people. It's almost like there's an element of serendipity to it. Behind the scenes, you could say in the subtle or in the spiritual, it is like a test. But in the foreground, in the 3D material, it feels like serendipity. It feels like good luck. It feels like whatever. And it's like, say you find a wallet full of money, right? It's a metaphor, as is most everything over here, at least. Um, I just remembered where my Mercury is. As a complete side note, I was kind of living for Saturn and Pisces because after my Saturn return, I was like, oh my gosh, we're good. But at the prospect of this, like, I think, I could be wrong, but I think at the prospect of this being the last time that Saturn is going to go be in Pisces, I'm like, I'm ready. Woo! But I mean, with where Saturn has to go next, I'm like, okay. But I guess at least it'll be out of Pisces. Um, I don't even. Where was I? Where was I? So yeah, it's like if there's like a wallet that's found and it's like stuffed with cash and important stuff like precious photos or IDs or whatever, right? Or like cards, plastic, whatever. There's the important stuff and then there's the money. Someone could be like, oh, like I've been manifesting, I've been praying for like a sum of money, and this wallet has more than what I could need, or it has exactly the amount that I want. And they could think that like finding that wallet again, it's the energy. It's not necessarily a one for one. Take it as it resonates. If it resonates, and if it don't resonate, don't take it. Um, but one second. Un momento, por favor. All right, that's something else. Um, Again, it's just a metaphor. But let's say that like someone finds a wallet that has more than or the exact amount of money they've been manifesting. They could take that as like, oh, this is the divine like blessing me with the very thing that I've been like manifesting. But the test behind the scenes is to turn the money in because there's identification with it. Right. And it's not that it's necessarily multiple rounds of this, but it's like that's this Five of Wands energy. With the Five of Swords like coming down and manifesting, that's this like Five of Wands. And it's like only one person in this, it's almost like a trial, like a clinical trial, sample size, sample population type energy. It's like only one person, or there's a select group of people. There's a select group of people who like make the sacrifice and go like, even though this is what I really need right now, I know that like this money belongs to someone. And so this is like for those that return the wallet, even though they, I think I said the Seven of Pentacles, even though it's like they really need it. Now, of course, in the metaphor of it all, someone could have returned the wallet and the person was so grateful for the precious things in it that they get even more than what was there. Or it leads to another opportunity that is worth more than what they had found initially. Right. And it feels like there are going to be some who like take the money, but they return all of the like the precious things, and they go, well, at least they have these photos, and at least they have their identification, and at least they have this other stuff, and they have the wallet. Just sans the cash money. Some people are going to take the cash money, take the cards, run them up, get as much as they can before the fraud detection systems kick in, and they'll throw the wallet away and shred them and burn the pictures. But it's almost like it's that kind of energy. And you could say that, like, the reason behind it is to find. I feel like this kind of came out with the King of Pentacles, King of Wands thing last time, in a way. It's like, in a certain way, in a lot of ways, the divine knows us so well, but always gives us the opportunity to show who we are, right? And so it feels like someone, again, in the metaphor, someone could metaphorically be, oh, well, like if I had found the wallet, then I would have returned it with the cash in the wallet. So, like, it's not fair that this person gets the bonus for turning the wallet in with the cash when I wasn't even given the opportunity because I would have done it, knowing that they would not have done it. They may not have gone full scammer, but they would have taken the cash. Right. But it's because it doesn't happen that they get to say what they would have done. And so it's almost this like, show me, don't tell me kind of energy because of what someone is going to be entrusted with. So it could be something like vision that is given to purpose. Like, let's say someone has a purpose based mission and they get an opportunity to sell out and they don't because they're about the mission. And because they don't sell out, it's like there is a level of integrity there that someone recognizes and appreciates, and then they get like even more. Something like that, right? They're entrusted with something because they have proven their character. Because it's easy to say what we would have done in a situation. It's much easier to say that than it is to actually do something. And maybe that's why one cup gets poured into the water and the other cup gets poured into the ground. The fish in this cup may be an element of reassurance, right? Because let's say the person is like, I didn't turn in the wallet to get a reward. I turned in the wallet because it was the right thing to do. Like, I don't need your money. I don't want your money. I don't want to be rewarded for doing the right thing because I didn't do the right thing for a reward. And it's like something about the fish in the cup is like a divine reassurance of like, take the reward. Or it's to combat like a what do you call it, imposter syndrome. It's to combat like a low self-esteem, self-worth. It's to combat questioning. It's like a reassurance to go ahead because now I want to look for the Ace of Pentacles because it's like it's a test that was passed. This energy kind of can, like, I saw that short. with the lady and the money and the job hiring thing. Okay. Anyway, let's look for the Seven of Pentacles. I'm going to look here first. And I guess I'm looking from the bottom to make it quicker. This is so funny. The devil is at the bottom of the deck here. Seven of Pentacles, not here. Devil energy is temptation. And that's like, it's literally like when Jesus was in the desert, question mark, for 40 days and 40 nights, and he was hungry. And then the devil popped up and was like, oh, girl, like, why don't you just turn the rocks into a loaf of bread and eat? Like, you don't have to be hungry. You have the power to end your hunger. You have the power to slake your thirst. And Jesus said, girl, if you don't go somewhere and get out of here, that may work on Billy, Bobby, and Sue. But again, it's that because it is almost that level of like this is the divine like answering my prayer. And it's almost like, again, it's a metaphor. So I'm not necessarily saying if you find a wallet full of money, don't take the cash if you really, really need it. It's not for me to say. I'm no one's judge. And I sit on no jury. Right. Your intuition discernment tells you. But it is that like the divine has the ability to give you money that is not someone else's, that is not lost, that is not stolen. The divine has the ability to like bless you in the light of the sun. Right. And again, if you come across some money and there's no identification, it's just like a $20 bill on the side of the road and you really need $20. Hey, maybe that's the way. But in a wallet with like this is who it belongs to, like right there, like return me. If you find me, return me. And it's like, oh, this is mine. Because that is like, again, devil energy is coming through as temptation. Like that is not the way. Turning rocks into bread is not the way, was not the way. Now let's move here. At the bottom of the deck over here, we have the Nine of Pentacles. From the Nine of Wands to the Nine of Pentacles. Love that energy. I'm looking for the Seven of Pentacles. And it looks like it is not here either. I said I was interested in the Ace of Pentacles because this page of Pentacles is receiving that Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is in between the Hierophant and Temperance. Literally the 14 of... Oops, girl. The Hierophant is now on the table in reverse at the feet of the Hangman. The Hierophant at the feet of the Hangman. This is interesting. If the Hierophant is a person, it's like not even the Hierophant would do what the divine says to do. Right? Not all leadership, like we're all human. Nobody's perfect. We all have our shortcomings, our struggles, our triumphs, and our trials, right? And I think the dangerous thing about the Hierophant falling out in reverse is because the Hierophant is a respected leader. It's almost like Hierophant energy convinces other people that, like, if you find, please return me, that is the divine giving that money to you. Don't return it because that is the divine answering your prayer. That's when the Hierophant, it's like the devil in the pulpit type energy because we're human. And now there is a whole potential flock of people who are not returning, who are failing their tests, who can't pass their trials because of the leadership that they follow. Anyway, Hierophant upright, Temperance 14 with the Temperance of Wands, the 5 plus 9. The Ace of Pentacles is in between the Hierophant and Temperance. And again, this is the pinnacle that is received. And there is a line. So, how it sits on the table, because I only got two cards, it's these two, and then the Five of Swords is under it. If I can pick it up. And then the Page of Pentacles is under that. Now, they don't literally sit like this, but it's like this. These 14 up here, and then the Five of Swords, and then the Page of Pentacles. Literally the Hierophant in disguise, but like true Hierophant energy. So I guess that would be like, you could say metaphorically, that would be like big Jesus, and not like your local preacher pastor that has, yeah, anyway, Hierophant in reverse. Interesting, but again, not what I was looking for. But I did mention it, so I figured I would pull it. So the Seven of Pentacles is actually going to be in this underlying energy. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Swords. What if the Seven of Pentacles ain't even here? LOL, OMG, that would be hilarious. Okay, so I had to overlook the Seven of Pentacles. Hello? I literally just got this deck. I can't be missing a card already. So it has to be here. And I overlooked it, obviously. Oh, it's right here. It was like the second card from the top. So I guess I got towards the end and I was just like, brain shot. The Seven of Pentacles is in between Death and the Three of Pentacles. This is what, Scorpio, Capricorn energy. Between Scorpio and Capricorn lies Sagittarius. Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Yeah. Yeah, 8, 10, 9. And I guess we're in Sag season right now. Now, what's interesting about Death and the Three of Coins, Three of Pentacles, is we did see Hierophant in reverse. So there is a little, just because the cards are what the cards are, there is a little bit of an energy of like current leadership is not doing a great job at their job. And there is a very promising individual on a team. And there's some restructuring that's going to happen. And some people are going to be promoted, maybe once, twice, maybe even thrice, and other people are going to be let go. Type energy. And again, it's kind of sort of because it was a test. And even if, because it's not necessarily like the authorities are going to be called because the test was a test, so they know who stole the money. They know who didn't return the money. It's not really stolen if you find it and don't return it. But they know who did. And there are certain things that it's not wise to entrust to someone who would take advantage in certain situations, especially situations working with vulnerable peoples or populations. Right? That's how you end up with, what was his name? It was a whole thing. There was a medication that some dude like bought and then charged a whole bunch of money for. And his thinking was, well, if people want to live and survive, they'll pay for it because they have to. It's almost not. What kind of week has it been? What's been going on in the astrology of this week? Maybe the new moon in Scorpio. Turns out the new moon in Scorpio was like opposing my moon in Taurus. Who knew? I should have known. But anyway, it's like integrity doesn't return void. And it's almost like that's another reason why it's really important to be tapped into, it's like to be more tapped into your discernment than your desire. The Three of Pentacles takes the Seven of Pentacles to a Ten of Pentacles, and a 10 is a numerological one. We see the Ace of Pentacles on the table between the Hierophant and Temperance again. I feel like with Death and the Seven of Pentacles, again, this like Two of Pentacles, Hangman energy that was like two steps forward, one step back, one step forward, two steps back. This like, it feels like there were like plants potentially like dying on the vine. And the Seven of Pentacles, it's like you pray, you go before the divine in whatever way you go before the divine. You communicate in whatever way you communicate. The divine says, do this, do that, just keep doing this. And it's like, again, you're doing it and maybe you're not getting, I feel like this kind of came out recently. Like it's very similar to what came out the last time, I'm pretty sure. Um, and it's like the instruction was to continue to tend to the things that you can tend to. We can hold the belief of, okay, I'm being told this because it's going to lead to this or it's going to lead to that. Maybe our intuition told us that it will lead to this and that. And if it told you, then girl, congrats. Your discernment is on point. Your discernment clocked that T. Um, but sometimes, again, it's like desire and it's us like thinking, like, oh, well, then like this is going to lead to that. And so it's like with the instruction being continuously, like, just keep working on it, just keep tending to what you can tend to. It's like doors are steadily closing, plants are steady dying on the vine as we're tending and as we're tending and as we're tending with the Seven of Pentacles. And it only takes one seed to grow into a mighty beanstalk, right? Again, it's the Ace of Pentacles. It's one out of seven. And maybe there is something important that we get at each step. Like each failure holds its own lessons and triumphs and victories. Like they don't, again, integrity doesn't return void. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that looks a lot more prosperous and abundance coded than integrity on the surface. Cool. What would have happened in this like week though? I don't know. But there is the energy of a turning point. Cool. So this has been long enough. We're gonna get a final card. Also, I love this Queen of Swords here because it's like the Queen of Swords welcomes, ushers in, like you may step forward type thing, right? Nine of Swords with the Queen of Swords. And I guess that could be a test. You could say it's a test of discernment, but more than a test of discernment, It's almost like, because again, like the divine has the power to bless you, to fulfill its promises without the downfall or theft or like divine energy does not have to engage devil tactics to get you what it promised it will give to you, or to get you where it promised you will go. Not where you think it's leading you, but where it promised you it would lead you. And so it is almost, I don't know how to describe it besides like a test of who and what we think the divine is and how it operates, right? And again, with the Hierophant in reverse, it's almost like the divine being like, okay, like, do you truly know me, or do you only know the version of me that you've heard preached or that you've seen other people talk about, or like this like commercialized mega abundance, mega love, solve all your problems for free. You ain't got to do nothing. You're perfect. And it's look, double energy. It's not to say you aren't perfect the way you are, but again, it could be. I could read it that way. And again, it's not to say that, because it's not to say that things won't happen. Not to say that things won't happen in a certain way, right? Because if there is someone that maybe someone made a promise to the divine that they would do something with a resource, and maybe for a while they were the person that would honor that promise, and maybe for a while they did. But something happened. Ego got in the way. Greed ended up taking over. Someone got comfortable in their new lifestyle and then wanted more and more and more. And it's like the more they ventured down that path, the further they got away from the service that they had been blessed and provided for to do. And so now someone else has to come in and to do what was originally their task to do. So they may lose something, or at the very least, they may not get what it is that they had been receiving because they're not using it as intended. And there's very much so an intention behind something, right? Which is, again, to have someone who is opportunistic serving a population of vulnerable people can be dangerous. That's how you get, I guess, like loan sharks and stuff like that, right? Oh, well, if you don't want your girl, we ain't got to go there. We ain't got to go there. Cool. Final energy. The moon. Or final card. Final card. Oh, it's too much. Five of Swords, though. How does this play out? Take it as it resonates. The Two of Swords. We saw the Two of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Swords. Not the Two of Cups. No. Well, the Two of Wands was, I did see. Um, but in the Five of Swords, there were two swords that were on the ground. And it seemed like it was an end to this impasse, Two of Swords, not necessarily knowing which way is which energy. Bottom of the deck is the Devil and the Five of Pentacles. The Devil was on the table when I picked up the deck, so I saw the Five of Pentacles. The Devil and the Five of Pentacles, again, this is that whole like an opportunist that positions themselves in the vicinity of vulnerable people. These are vulnerable people who are cold, hungry, injured, and in need of food, warmth, shelter, and attention. And then here's double energy that's like, okay, well, if you need shelter, there I can put you up here. If you need food, I can feed you. And if you need whatever, and then it may be good for a minute. And then one day you get a bill in the mail and you're like, what is this? And then devil energy is like, oh, well, nothing in this world comes for free. You knew that, right? And then the vulnerable people is like, I was in a vulnerable position. I thought you were just like helping me. I took your kindness for kindness and not whatever this is type energy. And the thing about devil energy and the thing about some energies in particular, especially energies that prey on vulnerable people, it's just like they know what vulnerability does to us as human beings. And it can get us to do things that we ordinarily wouldn't do. And there is a certain amount of a test of endurance. Um, and if the divine says, like, just wait. It's almost like the story of the person who drowned in the flood. But if you reverse it to the point where it's like the divine tells them to wait, right? The divine is like, hey, some stuff is going to go down, but don't worry about it. Just know that you are going to be okay. You are my precious one, and I will protect you through anything and all things. And so you're like, okay, like sounds good to me. And then there's on the girl, it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. On the news, it's like there's a flood warning or some kind of disaster warning, and the person starts to freak out, and the divine is like, I told you, you're going to be fine. You are precious to me. I got you. You are protected. Nothing will happen to you. Right. And so everyone's doing their disaster preparedness as they should, because if they're not necessarily afforded that protection, girl, then you got to do what you got to do. Protection for them may look different. They may be in a season where they need to move. And this is the opportunity that the divine is going to use to move them. But movement ain't necessary for you. So we also have to be able to discern what the divine tells us and what the divine tells others. And just because the divine says something for others or through others does not necessarily mean it's for us. So the divine is moving them, the divine is telling them to hunker down or whatever. We're making that assumption that it's not all done out of fear, even though a lot of it could be. We're making the assumption, we're giving the benefit of the doubt. The divine, we all have our own movements and plans and processes. And the divine is like, you're good. So don't go out, like let the people who are in the season of hunkering down, let them stock up the pantry. You're good. Don't go out and buy up all the toilet paper. You have a bidet and a means to dry your butt. You have a fancy toilet that will wash and dry. So you don't even need toilet paper. Why are you going out and buying toilet paper? Because you're afraid that you're not going to have toilet paper because there's none on the shelf and you don't use toilet paper anyway. Hello? Anyway. And so the divine is like, you're good. Right. And then the waters come in. People are like, okay, like we're doing the evacuation. The divine again says, you're good. You don't evacuate. The water starts to rise, and then the boats come and the helicopters come, and the whole time the divine is telling you, you're good, you're good, you're good. And so maybe at the very end, the water is rising high. There is nothing but water in the horizon. The high ground has been submerged, and you are in your flotation, divine provided flotation device, right? And let's just say you just like stay in your divine provided flotation device. You don't even notice that the current has moved you to wherever is for you. Like that, it's almost like that kind of energy. Again, which is the flip on the other one. On the other one, it was like the divine sent the caravans and the helicopters and the boats and the planes, trains, and automobiles and the strangers and the familiar people to like save them, and they ended up drowning anyway. But here again, And it's because of this, like, hold the line, keep tending to what you're tending to, keep following and abiding by what your discernment and intuition is telling you to follow and abide by. You will reach that point of the breakthrough. But if you step away from this, it's the same as forfeiting the thing type energy. But with how the cards came out, excuse me, with how the cards came out, it reads like it's like the time has come or is coming for it to be revealed, like why you have been told to stay, or why your intuition and discernment has told you to keep at what you've been keeping at. Cool. Yep, that's it. All right. I hope y'all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever and whoever you need along your path, journey, and way, however you need them, you'll find. And until next time, yeah, continue to take it as it resonates if it resonates. And if it never resonates or doesn't resonate, then don't take it. Continue to not take it. If it never resonates for you, maybe one of these days it will, I guess. I was going to say, I don't know why you're still here, but who knows?